One thing that no one ever tells you is how much friendship breakups hurt, probably even more than romantic relationships. And I don't even know why. I would love to know the psychology behind that. A lot of friendships end for different reasons. Like a lot of friendships end in betrayal, miscommunication, like time apart, or maybe you've just outgrown certain people. Like there's so many reasons why a lot of friendships end, but I don't think it just takes away the aftermath of it all, like the feelings and the hurt of like how you feel after the relationship has ended. So like the causes of those relationships is what I'm going to focus on in order for us to figure out the cause of why that particular friendship ended and how we can move on, because I myself have had such a hard time with female friendships. I have done a video or a podcast episode or an episode of the dark side of female friendships, because they can get really dark. Oh my gosh, they can get really dark. It's really hard to find real and genuine friends, female friends. I don't know how guys do it, but I think it's so complicated with girls as well, because guys don't really complicate it, because guys are not really into, like, guys don't really speak like that, and like girls, we do speak like that. We speak about our feelings, we speak about our personal life, but it's like guys don't really have to deal with all of that because they really haven't exposed themselves like that. I mean, right, so betrayal is the first one and probably the most common one, just because of, especially if you've coming from a position where you've had a massive friend group and everything. It's very complicated because there are a lot of people who secretly don't like a lot of each other. There's a lot of animosity it's unspoken animosity, and it's just like there are also, especially like in big friend groups, it's like there's a duo here, there's a trio here, or whatever the case is, right? So it's like kind of like every person has their own little clique and whatever, and it's just like you never know which group a group of people in the friendship group don't really like each other, and you will be shocked by how much they actually don't really like each other. So betrayal is one of the worst things to ever experience in whatever relationship that you're in, right? And I think it's so hurtful when it comes from your girls, because you wouldn't have expected for them to do that, right? Betrayal is like one of the worst feelings to ever have to feel, because it's like I would have never have ever even thought of doing you like that, but you put your big girl panties on and you did that. That's insane. And it's like, it's so crazy because you've had this person's back, you've been by this person's side, and you probably would have done a lot for them and helped them out so many times just for them to do you dirty. The most important thing with betrayal, right, is not holding on to it. Like, fair enough, your feelings are valid, you're angry, you feel whatever type of way that you feel, right? Holding a grudge is the worst thing you can do in a sense. And I used to be I could hold a grudge through so many friendships that I've been through in the past. Literally only being 18 years old, but child, being a girl is hard. I was able to hold a grudge with so many of my ex-friends and stuff like that. But I realized, what good is it actually doing for me? Like, why am I out here holding a damn grudge, having that on my back while they're living a peaceful lifestyle, literally unbothered and stuff, but I'm holding a grudge? The thing is about holding a grudge, right? You're holding a grudge, you haven't forgiven them. And like, this is not a thing to like forcefully say that you should forgive people. Forgive people at your own time. Forgive people if that truly is something that you would do in your heart, right? Just as long as that burden is off your shoulders, because it's so unfair for that person to be living such a healthy life while you still have that grudge. You understand me? It's just like a waste of your time. Also, oh my gosh, I heard this other thing, yeah, and it's like you kind of like something about moving on without an apology. And that is something that I always used to like struggle with, because it's like if someone didn't apologize for me, if someone didn't show me how regretful or how remorseful they are about a particular situation, I would be like, excuse me, so you don't feel apologetic? And sometimes I do have those certain instances, right? But it may not even be with people that are close to me, so it doesn't really like, it doesn't linger, it doesn't whatever, like, it doesn't affect me, right? Also, some friendships end because you now have different goals and different priorities, and I think that needs to be normalized. I think especially with relationships, with friendships that have started from a very young age, it's like, bro, you've literally gone through puberty. You've literally went through your adolescent years. You're probably pushing 20, probably pushing 25, whatever. It doesn't mean you have to be as close to this person as you were right now. Like, that doesn't have to be the case for yourself. And it's just like, I hate that people always try to push this narrative of like, just because you were so close and you were so tight, like, doesn't mean that now that still has to be a thing. Outgrowing is a normal thing. Outgrowing is an okay thing, right? And I think that also needs to be normalized. I mean, people change their beliefs and their opinions the more they evolve and the more that they grow. So that's also a good thing. Some people change for the worse, some people change for the better. What if that friend changed for the worse and it's like, now you're wanting to elevate yourself? Do you really want to be associated with someone who is still stuck? No, there's only so much you can do anyways for your friends. And it's like, you can either support or just not entertain it. Like, that's the only things that you can do. Just for your own peace of mind and your own sanity. You don't want to be hearing stories of like, this happened, this happened, this happened, when it's like, you clearly told the friend that if you didn't do that, that could have all been avoided. Like, they'll be coming to you with their problems, but it's like, if you kind of had listened to what I said, that whole thing would have been avoided. And now you're coming to me with your problems, right? And I know I'm supposed to be a friend, I'm supposed to be supportive, but it's also like, as a friend, I'm trying to do and I'm trying to come to you with whatever, like, good advice in that particular situation, right? But it's also like, also, people are not gonna always listen to you. Your friends are not always going to take your advice. They're not gonna be stubborn and stuff like that. It's hard to get through to them, right? So you just need to let those ones be, because they're gonna learn their lesson when they learn their lesson. Right now, they're just living, and you know, it's just important. I think for me, it was a very harsh pill to swallow, because it's just like, I don't want to ever see someone that I know kind of going astray. But it's like, really and truly, it's something that Tam Core said in one of her recent videos, and I was watching it and I was like, you know what, yeah. And she's like, you know how much you love this person, like, okay, fair enough, you love this person, you care about this person so much and stuff like that, but it's like, let people make their own mistakes, let people have their own experience. They're gonna learn later on. It's, even though you would love to be their savior right now, just don't be doing any of that. And I was just like, yeah. I was just like, yeah, let me start doing that, because I'm the type of person, right? If someone comes to me with their problems, I literally act like I'm the person who's being directly affected. So it's like it's like a thing of like, not me fighting their battles, but it's like, it's so personal to me because I care about that person so much. So it's almost like it happened to me and stuff like that. But I've learned to, like, you know what? I've come upon realization that I'm going off script, but you know what? I'm just literally just gonna ramble the whole way. Okay, but anyways, a point that I wanted to make is that for a relationship, for a friendship to end, right, it doesn't have to be this whole dramatic thing of like, oh, my friend betrayed me, oh, something big happened. Like, it doesn't always have to be that way. Some people can be literally just stuck in their own childish ways, and maybe you don't want any of that anymore. And like, I heard this, I don't know who said it, but it was like, I don't have to turn you into a monster in order to kind of make myself feel better, or to kind of make a story out of it. I don't know what it was, but it's just kind of like, it's nothing bad had to happen. You never had to like villainize the person or make the situation even worse than it actually was in order to move on from something. Like, I know some people do make it easier for you to move on from the situation by just showing their true colors after the relationship has ended. It's like, oh, this is, girl, this was you? I didn't know about this version of you. I didn't know about the side of you, right? So they make it easier because you really see them for truly like who they are and stuff like that. But I just want to emphasize that nothing grand, nothing big has to happen in order for your friendships to end. If your friendship does not serve you well, I don't know how many times I have to repeat that. If your friendship doesn't serve you, if you feel like it's stagnant, if you feel like it's not going anywhere, if you feel like it's not allowing you to grow as a person, why are you there? Why are you there? Why are you still hung up on the situation when you literally could be out of it? And it's like, okay, fair enough, you want to give this other person a chance, but at what cost? At what cost? If the tables were turned, would they even think about giving you a second chance, a third chance, or a million other chances? No, because other people have higher standards. Other people are firm on their boundaries. And it's like people respect people who have boundaries and who are firm and who are assertive. You're going to be a doormat that everybody's going to trample over if you don't stand your ground. So it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do. You literally gotta stand on business. Also, other friendships also end because of jealousy and competition and stuff like that. And it's just like, that side of, that's why I don't like the comparison game in the first place. That's why I don't even like comparing myself with a stranger, because it kind of becomes a habit. It's like complaining. If you complain about one thing, you end up complaining about everything, child. So it's like, that's also another thing. Like, look out for those friends who make those backhanded compliments, those unsolicited flipping critical comments about you. Like, those little things, you know, because it could escalate. It could be the one thing. I don't know, guys. Some friend, oh my gosh, maybe it's because I grew up in an African household, but those are people very evil, and it's like, you don't want it to turn into a situation where something bad is happening to you now because of a jealous friend. Like, how crazy is that? Like, no. And also remember, like, for people who are much older, right? So like, life transitions, right? And like having different priorities, right? As I said before, like, people end up getting married, people end up having husbands, people end up having kids, people literally have like a completely and a separate life to you right now. And maybe you just don't fit into that life at all anymore, you know? They were there when you were probably in your youth or whatever the case was. They were there for a season, there for a reason. Also, like, having an understanding of that, it's like you kind of always have to be prepared for something to happen, because not everything will always go the way that you want it to. For that person served a purpose in your life, now it's time for them to kind of like go on a separate path that is away from you guys, because you guys don't align anymore, and that's okay. Now, onto healing your friendship breakups, because I've been talking for time. I think the first thing is just realize that it's actually the best thing that could have happened to you. It's literally a blessing, even though it doesn't feel like it. Because sometimes you don't even know how your friends are used to an old version of yourselves, and they could be unintentionally holding on to an old version of you that's going to keep you small, and that's going to keep you stagnant and in the same place. And now you see yourself flourishing without them. You see yourself elevating, because you're no longer tied to a person who knows the old version of you and who kind of wants you to adapt to your old ways. You're no longer stuck to a version of a friend who is so stuck on just doing the same things all the time, who is just used to seeing you just as this person and nothing more, because that's the version of you that they only know, right? And my thing is like, that is so much growth and so much elevation lost. Just knowing that it was for the best and realizing it was the best thing that could have happened to you. It's like, let's say your friendship ended in a massive misunderstanding or whatever the case is, and let's say maybe after that misunderstanding you guys have kind of like cooled down, and now you're sitting and having a conversation. If what happens if they still hold the same beliefs, but it was just maybe the way in which they said it, the tone in which they used and everything, and you also have a firm belief in your opinion that you know, that was kind of like driving the conversation and adding fuel to the fire. Now you just sit there and you come to the realization that, wait, this person has a completely different view on life than I do, and it doesn't align with me, and it doesn't align with my beliefs and my values. So you know what, I'm gonna keep my distance from you. And you know what? You saved yourself so much time. And now you're out of a situation in which wouldn't have served you, because nothing is gonna serve you if it doesn't align to you. Also, that misunderstanding can teach you so many things. It can teach you about, okay, so this is actually what I don't like. This is actually what I wouldn't tolerate in a relationship. This is actually the type of person that I probably wouldn't want in my life, because they value these things and I don't really, resonate with that. They believe in these things. I don't want to be the type of person who kind of believes in that type of things. So it's like also that type of thing. It's like not to say that your friends all need to be exactly like you. No, that's not, whatever to say. But I'm just saying there are genuinely just people who just don't align with you, and that misunderstanding could literally been it was literally the only way in order to kind of like show you in that particular instance that like you don't actually align. Kind of like, look what you kind of dodged, because it's like some certain things, yeah, people will say certain things out of just anger, out of emotion and everything, and it's kind of like you kind of realize the type of person that they are, and that needed to happen in order for you to just kind of see the situation for what it actually is, if that makes sense. So you actually get to see who that real person is, and it's like, okay, I don't align with this person, and that's it. Another thing you can do, which is basically what I've been saying, is to identify the reason as to why the friendship ended. You need to reflect on it. You need to reflect on it. You need to take accountability. As much as you put that person and you hold them accountable for what they did, you also need to do the same thing for yourself. Hold yourself accountable for the things that you said and you've done in the relationship, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. That's the only way that you're going to move forward. Honestly, stop dwelling on the past and stop feeling regretful, because if that situation was still meant to be something in your life, if that person was still meant to be in your life, they would have. Like, there's no what ifs and buts and howevers and although blah blah blah. No, if they were meant to be in your life right now, they would be. All you need to do is find ways now to actually see other people with all the knowledge that you have learned, and you're in your healing journey. Now you're going to look to other people that don't have those exact same traits that your ex-friend has, because that would defeat the entire purpose now, wouldn't it? So yeah, I feel like once you focus on yourself, once you stop dwelling on the damn past, and once you stop sulking, that's when you're out of the depressive moods. That's when you're out of a rut. That's when you get out of slump. That's when life starts to feel worth living again and worth experiencing, rather than just existing, And yeah, I hope that helped you guys. I hope that you learned something. I kind of went off script, that I kind of rambled. So sorry for that. I'm so sorry. But I really hope you liked it. Hope it helped. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow all my socials, and comment down below, obviously. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.